they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Hey, what is up guys, Topher here, bringing you another high-level Halo Wars commentary today. We're going to be playing on 14 against Quantum, Velocity, and SG Mythic, and they'll be running Forge RB Brute, and I will be with BH on 2 Legit and Limitz, and we will be running Anders RB Brute in this custom game. So, I already uploaded the game where we had the Forge and they had the Anders, and we were the team that ended up going tanks. So this time around, I'm going to show the other end of that matchup, and we're going to have the Anders, and they're going to have the Forge, and we'll just this game is going to show you how the game looks from the side of the team that goes Gauss. So we're going to start out pretty standard here, and I'm just going to play Temple Third defense, and Limitz is going to follow his legendary Temple First 90% of the time strat, so Limitz will be going Temple First. And he's almost to their base. He should be hitting, I think he's going to be hitting the other team's Brute, which is black. And I'm just going to be on defense trying to grunt down the Chieftain with our Warthogs, and hopefully we can play some pretty textbook defense there. It looks like we didn't scout to see if the RU was Temple 3rd or 2nd, but I think we're just going to be assuming Temple 3rd, because if you let a Temple First Chieftain go untouched on your base, one person's pretty much going to be stripped. So a Temple First Chieftain basically forces an RB into defense, whether they like it or not. So I'm out now, and it looks like their Chieftain also went Temple First this game. So yeah, I'm going to get an early hog kill right here, because for some reason that hog was all the way up on offense. So that might indicate that they're going for quick tanks. Not too sure though. We'll have to see what happens. And I saw the Chieftain on when I was watching this game back, as you can tell. But in the game, I didn't see the Chieftain because it's kind of hard to see the black leaders in this game. If I mean, just because they're so dark against the minimap. But luckily, he did opt to try to deny the 4th pad of Limitz's, but Limitz had some pretty good building placement. So they, even though I was late to kill the Brutes, it really didn't matter because they didn't really do much damage to the pad anyways, because Limitz had some quality building placement. So now, since the Brutes are dead, I can start building Suicide Grunts to basically help the Hogs kill the Chieftain, and I'll just be chasing them around, and we're just trying to stay on offense longer than they are at this point in the game. And looks like Quantum isn't opting to really Vortex. That can be good. It's I don't know. It's really your call whether you want to Vortex. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's not so good. And but it looks like Quantum's just opting not to really Vortex. He's it's partly because he did so well. He's getting hit still, and he did so little damage to Limitz that he has to try to get his eco up at the same time. But now he's Vortexing, but that just leaves an open spot for me to get this grunt in. I do have Citadel now, and I'm just going to finish off this Chieftain by raging him down, and now's the time. Now we're looking to be in a good spot. I mean, Limitz is still an offense. His Chieftain is red bar, but he does have Inheritance, so he still does have a decent amount of health, and he is still, because he has Inheritance, he is still denying a pad on offense. So I'm going to be initially going all RB this game. Trying to catch some Warthogs and stuff. I could throw up a Summit 7th in a single pump Banshees, but instead I'm just going to opt to go for all RB until Tech 2, and then once I have my Tech 2 up and maybe a little bit of money, I'll throw up a Summit and start single pumping Vampires. That's pretty much a safe way to play it, I guess. So I'm raging around all the way up on offense, and I have almost one Suicide Grunt, literally one Suicide Grunt, and a squad left to pour it in. I wasn't really up on offense in time to deny that upcoming pad because it was at least 60% or 70% by the time I got there. But now I did just queue Fiendish, and I see the tank here finally. But since I did just queue Fiendish, I don't really have the money to raise that tank, but I do see this weak pad that Limitz had before he died, or it looks like Limitz ended up recalling. But I'm going to end up finishing off that pad, and it's going to be all good. I did see the RB was on defense still, which is good. So I'm not so BH, I'm too legit. It's pretty safe to clear that base and take it whenever he wants to. And plus, I do have my Ghost well placed at the teleporter, and too legit will know exactly when that RB comes through, which is right now. and he knows he's going to have to run. He decided that he's going to just DQ the base because the RB is running the right direction to his expo, and his expo would probably finish, but it would just pretty instantly die to an RB raging it. So the base wasn't worth it at all, and we're just going to end up having to DQ the base. Luckily, I do still have my ghosts alive though, and that'll help to legit know when they go through the teleporter. And Velocity, no, I think this is SG Mythic. I think Velocity is their Unity, but Mythic had a Suicide Grunt ready to port in to try to kill that base that we were building. So definitely a good call by Too Legit to just DQ the base. So we go down here, and I believe there's a tank down here. That's why Too Legit's hogs are running away, and I'm running down. And there's a tank down at this base somewhere, and I'm running in a circle around the base, and I don't see the tank. So in the middle of this game, we're like, where the heck did the tank go? Because I ran a full circle around, the hogs were in the front, and like we're even at the point where we think the tank ran away, so we're just gonna take the base and go on offense pretty much. Because we have no idea where that tank went that went down there to clear that base. We know we know there's a tank somewhere lurking, but we didn't see it. So yeah, we're just gonna take their base and assume that tank just randomly went somewhere. But yeah, now I'm raging. I have 1,200 bucks. I could queue Tech 2, but I don't want to queue Tech 2 quite yet because there is a period you have to wait to save up for $600 to even queue Vicious Blades. And there you see the tank. It was hiding in the corner the whole time, and that was a really good placement on his tank by Velocity. It's unfortunate for us because we did not buy the base, and now that tank is going to be really annoying. And yeah, I just killed the base. I think he did end up dropping a carpet on that base, though. I'm not too sure. And yeah, we do have Gauss now, and I'm finally queuing Tech 2 because I didn't see the tanks. Red is on Vampires, as you can tell right there. And I am queuing a Tech 2 RB and throwing up Summit any second now if I haven't already, to start single pumping Vampires myself. And we are now, Too Legit is now finally taking his expo, and Limitz is just going around getting veterancy on his chieftain because he's planning on, since he won inheritance already, he might as well just get birthright as well, because birthright can really help out in a tanking, in like when you're fighting tanks, because it takes a tank out of the fight right away. And if they all unit candy the chieftain, sometimes he doesn't even die. So I just queued my full Tech 2 RB, and I do see these two tanks, so I'm going to try to rage them. But now there's this RB here too, and I'm going to be hitting the RB like a big noob on accident, and I'm just going to run away. I did dodge the cannies, and I could go back in, I guess, but I only have 100 bucks, and I could DQ Tech 2 rage, but instead I'm just going to run away and probably get a heal like you see right there, and I'm just going to wait to engage with my with the rest of our stuff, like with our hogs and air and stuff. So my ghost still is putting in work here. Now we know that the RB did go on offense. He is less than half health, so he should be a pretty easy kill as long as he doesn't get healed. And he didn't even have I don't think he even had the blades upgrade on his RB for Tech 2. So he should be a really easy kill, and I'm full Tech 2 now. And now we're just going back up the ramp. We do see that the Forge does have the expo now, and we can't really do too much about it. The RB is now on our expo, and he's probably going to try to rage it down if it doesn't have enough pads or something, but it looks like Too Legit is going to go in and defend his base. I'm not sure if he has a D-bomb or not. Well, I'm sure he has a D-bomb, but I'm not sure if he is going to use it because the RB was so weak. And here, I'm going to be a hero and try to go kill. There's 5 candy tanks, and I have a full Tech 2 RB, and I'm just going to get Insta-Cannied. Oh yeah. So my amazing rage micro is shown right there by getting Insta-Cannied when I go try to kill the tanks. So I'm going to be put in a spot where I just have to rebuild my RB, and now I'm going to have some excess money while I'm waiting for my RB to build, and I'm just going to build some tanks. Limitz did build an engineer because he kept asking, because he kept wanting a heal from Too Legit, but Too Legit kept like basically saying, no man, I'm not healing your chieftain right now, I'm trying to get bases and stuff. So Limitz took it upon himself to build an engineer for his own chieftain, and now he's almost full health already. And now I'm going to go highlight this. Looks like I'm going to go highlight this base real quick while Limitz gets the middle money with his chieftain, and I'm going to be taking this base because if I have this base, that gives me, if I get it built up a little bit, it gives me the ability to rage and double pump vampires, but there still are rebels there, so I have to wait for something to go over there and finish off the rebels before I can take the base. So now we're pretty much just gearing up to go in for an engagement. We do have a pretty large pop of Goss, and my RBS will health finally back out. I'm going to go through the teleporter while Legit goes back real quick and clears me out. The rebels. We know the Tech 2 RB is right here. So I'm just going to be raging him a little bit, and we're going to try to engage him alone with an RB and Goss against an RB. And it's pretty good that I took this base before this engagement, because it's good to push behind an expo just in case things go wrong. You'll be in an okay-ish spot still, hopefully. And here we're waiting for a cryo engagement. I believe 2 Legit got a medium cryo, which does work. It's way better than a small cryo. And here we're running away. We time it pretty well. We get the RB frozen, and I don't get frozen, and none of the Gauss does. We get some vampires frozen, and the RB is forced to recall, and the tanks are forced to run away. And I'm going to be, we know the RB is going to be running straight back down, though, and I'm going to run up and think for a second that I might be a hero, but instead I'm just going to pull back. And we're going to go hit the Forge Expo, it looks like, and see what we can do on it. So the tanks push back down the second that I get out of rage mode, and I have to go back into rage mode, so it takes a pretty decent amount of damage. The RB's back down here. The Chieftain pulled a tank. I'm raging as much as I can. I try to kill that weak tank, and I get Insta-Cannied again. I pretty much go down hard for, the second time or something? This game is definitely showcasing the best rage micro in the history of Halo Wars. Yeah, we pretty much lost that engagement by a lot. For some reason, Limitz decided to take the base on their side, and that's as a triple base. He's kind of trolling with that, I guess. He was maybe going to try to get a shield on it, but obviously it's not going to live at all. So it was a big waste of $500 in the end, but oh well. They do have a decent amount of vampires, but Limitz also has a lot of vampires. He's a teal blob sitting in front of his base that he really hasn't pushed up anywhere. He's just been single pumping. I think he's single pumping vampires at this point. He'll probably start double pumping on this expo. And 2 Legit now does have 3 bases, and he's going up. 2 Legit's making a nice play here by hitting the UNSC base to try to force the RB to stay on defense, because we know they're in a position to push right now. And if we can make them push with only the tanks instead of a tanks and an RB, as you can see right here, they only have tanks on offense instead of a tanks and an RB, we might be able to push it off and save my base. We do have, Limitz does have an engineer. His engineer that I was using is Chieftain, using for his Chieftain right here to try to keep the base alive for a little bit longer. And we did force the RB to go back on defense by pushing Gauss up to the UNSC base. And I'm going to recall and kill these first 2 tanks real quick that are weak. So that's a decent amount of DPS off my base. And now the Gauss is coming back, the Chieftain's back out, and he's going to be walking down. And I'm just going to do my best to rage as much as I can again. And they do drop a D-bomb, so that's pretty good. They won't have it for anything else, and the only way that D-bomb's really worth it is if they can actually kill the base or kill the RB or both. And now I'm going to be building on my base again and getting Citadel. This Birthright Chieftain is just going to pull a tank and just keep pulling tanks one by one. And I did get Citadel on this base, and that's going to increase the health by a ton. And I'm going to be able to, right here, the RB was on offense, like raging all the hogs, and I didn't realize it. But luckily, 2 Legit was able to ram him down pretty quickly, and I didn't even get a rage hit in. But yeah, all of a sudden, it looked pretty bad. If they would have been able to push with an RB and tanks and all their vampires right there, it would have been bad. But since we did get the RB to go back on defense for a little bit, and we got to engage the tanks alone for a little bit and make them drop their D-bomb, it turned out to be all right for us. And now my base is like the only thing that happened to my base was they dropped the shield on it and didn't do anything else really. So that's really good. And we do have a pretty massive vampire lead. Me and Limitz are gonna get healed at the same time because we both are a little over half health. And here there's a pesky vampire keeping my shield down, but Limitz is just gonna stasis it real quick. And I'm going to throw out my second summit finally to start double pumping vampires, because I do have a Citadel Expo now, and I have more than enough money to double pump vampires in Rage. especially since I already have my full Tech 2 upgrade. So this has been a pretty exciting game. Not too much breaking the action. Now we're going to be going for another push, it looks like. We're going to be maybe going towards green, it looks like. The Forge Expo, but we're just waiting to get everything together. We want this Birthright Chieftain, my Tech 2 RB, and the Hogs all together. Maybe we'll go for another Cryo engagement. Here we see the RB all alone, and now we are in position to fight this RB. We do have my RB and our Hogs, and we get a nice ram on them, and the RB's dead. So right here we were thinking Too Legit was initially going to go hit the Forge Expo, and I said I make the call to go kill the RB Temple. So we make a little reverse in plans, and the Goss is going to go hit Red's Expo, or Red's main, and try to drop the Temple so the RB can't get back out. While I try to maybe distract these tanks a little bit by being a hero, fighting them alone. I do get a tank to Red Bar, but I'm going to run away because he just hit Power Turret, and I do not want to fight like 6 or 7 Power Turret tanks by myself. So instead, I'm going to make a little beeline and go over and start raging down the Brute Space. Because I should be able to kill 2 to 3 pads on this base before the tanks can push me off, because the tanks' initial priority is really to knock the Goss off. Looks like we didn't get to do too much damage with the Goss, and Legit was forced to pretty much run away with his Goss. But while we didn't get to do too much damage on Red's base in the end, I am doing a lot of damage on Black's base, and I'm working on killing my 3rd pad right here. Limitz has his Brute Chieftain behind the Forge Expo, and he's probably dropping a pad or a depot or something. And the tanks are finally back up here. So there's only 3 tanks, and I have a decent amount of health. I should be able to kill these tanks fine, in theory, until I get double cannied by 3 tanks. I got basically barrel rolled by 3 tanks, so it was basically like 6 cannies shot me, so I insta-died again. So hashtag Insta-Cannied. That's what it's about. So we did end up at the end. I was able to kill 3 pads off Black. We were able to drop a depot off of the Forge base, which is all right. And I'm just going to be sitting back, rebuilding my RB, and getting into my Vampire double pump once again. So right here, you see Quantum put a Brute in that wall, which was a really smart play. We were talking about that during the game. Because he knows that that's where our Hogs, like, if we want to hit the Forge base, that's probably where we want to go. Or if we want to escape, that's where we're going to want to go with our Hogs. But since he has a Brute Squad in there, which actually has a ton of health in a garrison and does a decent amount of damage, will pretty much prevent us from going up that alley without them knowing, because we'd have to kill it first, obviously. So that was a really clutch play, and we lost 4 Hogs because of that Brute Squad in the garrison. And not only that, but it gives them one less place to worry about the Hogs pushing up and hitting. But we do still have a mini Goss push going on offense. They do have, both their Coveys do have Expos now. But it looks like Quantum rebuilt his Chieftain probably to mainly block his Chieftain and important Brutes into the walls. But we were able to kill the Chieftain, and now we're getting onto pretty solid vamp numbers now. Between me and Limitz, we're nearing full pop between both of us, if Limitz isn't already at full pop. And yeah, I'm gonna probably send my RB through the teleporter initially, or I'm just waiting at the teleporter to see where I have to go. Because we're still trying to decide what we want to do at this point. It looks like our Goss is pulling back onto defense, and we might actually be waiting to defend off. We're going to try to push off one of their pushes. Defend a push is what I'm trying to say. Because right now, I guess we think they're in a position to push, and there it is right there. They're pushing all their tanks in an RB, and their vampires are lurking in the background. We do have all of our Goss situated. My RB is running down to help with this, while our 2 vampire balls are sitting back waiting to see their vampires, basically. But we are going to do another cryo engagement. The cryo is pretty OP, like I said, and if you land a good cryo, you can basically kill everything, as ridiculous as it is, even if they have PT. So I'm just going to send my vampires in to kind of be decoy vampires, while Limitz sets his vampires back, which I believe are stasis bomb vampires, while I'm not on Tech 3 even yet. And I'm going to go in and try to start raging. I'm going to be a hero. Why not try to kill everything once again? And Insta-Cannied. So, what's that, like 3-4 arbiters I've already lost? Because, you know, best rage, this game right here. Best rage micro ever. You're ever going to see on YouTube. So yeah, all my vampires, they get stasis, but then Limitz came in and stasis all their vampires, and since I got freed up from stasising, then I got to stasis their vampires, and and because we have Gauss sitting under it as well, we just got ourselves a pretty commanding air lead. And you can see right there, Limitz does have stasis bomb. And right now we're talking about what we can do. Their RB is on offense raging still. But we're talking about how we want to play this. Me and Legit are basically trying to get Limitz to switch into Sacrifice Banshees because we do have this overwhelming air lead right now, especially since we have Gauss as well. But Limitz is talking about how he wants to go for a Scarab. But it looks like, and since they do have these weak tanks here, we are going to be able to poke we're going to try to poke down some of these tanks with vampires, even though they're power turret, because the tanks are so weak. And there's really no reason not to. we don't have too much Gauss left either at this point in the game. We are legit, since this RB still on defense, is going to start pushing his Gauss back up and probably try to hit the Forge main again. While we've pretty much forced him to pull back onto defense, my RB is back out now. And I'm just gonna rage run up and see what I can do with my RB for about the fifth time. We push all our vampires up to the back of Red's base, while the Gauss is hitting the Forge main. I believe right now, Legit is is starting his power turret transition because the game's getting pretty late here, and Gauss isn't going to be cutting it for too much longer. So yeah, we're working on getting into power turret right now, and we're pretty much just trying to do as much damage with this Gauss that we have left. So I am able to catch a couple of tanks, and I'm going to try to kill as many as I can from the ones that are stray from the pack. I do get a tank kill right there, and I'm going to start running away, and I get cannied pretty quickly there once again, and I do run away because I die pretty quickly, even to no cannies. So I'm going to run away, and I'm going to get a heal. All in the meanwhile, Limitz is back on his only aim main on bases. So we took the shield down on this base, and all the tanks and a couple of wolves are sitting under us now, and the RB is raging, and we're clearly not going to be able to kill this base. So that was a pretty bad push for our vampires, and I didn't really have any vampires to help him in that engagement. Well, not really an engagement, but help him. I lost all the vampires I sent up to help main down that base. So now we're going to be pulling back a little bit. We need to be building vampires again. Limitz is probably going to have to be building vampires again. I'm going to have to be building... I have no intentions of really switching off of vampires this whole game, because we have a Brute Chieftain that can easily switch between Banshees and vampires if he wants to. And I have Tech 3, and I'm queuing up Ghastly, and I'm also going to get Stasis Bomb, because it's pretty much a necessity at this point in the game if I want my vampires to do damage, because I'm sure at least one of them have Stasis Bomb as well, since they've both been on expos for a while now. And we're sending more... It looks like we're just stacking some Gauss up over here, and I'm going to be just hanging out with the Gauss. We're pretty much just seeing what kind of move they're going to make next in this game, and I think Legit's going to just be waiting to see the tanks, and we see the tanks in the middle right there. So now Legit feels like he can push up with his Gauss and try to maybe do some work on the Forge main base while the tanks are kind of out of position. But instead, we see the bulk of his tanks are still right here, and we're just going to run away because we thought they actually had more tanks in the middle than they actually did, when they were all actually right there for the most part. And my Stasis Bomb's almost done, and I'm just going to be stacking vampires on defense for a while. I'm sure Limitz has whatever the Tech 3 upgrade for Chieftain is. And I'm going to just be running back with my Arbiter, and we're going to be gearing up for another defensive play. Again, it looks like. They do have a Banshee, which is kind of weird. They definitely don't have... I mean, they were probably closest on air, but they definitely aren't in a position to really be building Banshees at this point in the game. So we're okay with that, because I still have 5 vampires, and Limitz has 10 or so, it looks like. And now my RB's just walking back. I'm telling Legit's going for a push now again. We do have a power turret tank, as you can see right there. And we're pretty much just trying to sack this Gauss into doing as much damage as we can on their base to while we're getting extra pop to build more power turret tanks. And hopefully, if they let it go untouched on the Forge, all that Gauss go untouched on the Forge main base for long enough, we can do a lot of damage. And right here, we see their push. They have pretty much everything up here. They do have a bunch of wolves, so I just defeated that vampire. It wasn't gonna get out anyways, even if it finished. And I'm gonna end up losing this base. There's pretty much nothing we can do to save it at this point in the game. We're gearing up to defend the next base they're gonna push on pretty much while we're just sacking this base. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but there you can see the Scarab that Limitz wanted to build. And so now we have a Ghastly Arby, a Scarab, and maybe like 5 or so power turret tanks. While this Gauss, if you look at the minimap, you can see the Gauss is still on offense hitting that Forge base, and it's actually doing a lot of work at this point because there was about 10 or 12 hogs there. And the Arby is finally on defense to help deal with that, and now they are forced to drop their D-bomb while we have a Scarab and a couple of tanks here and a bunch of vampires over the fight. So this ended up being pretty good, a pretty good engagement because Legit made a nice play and forced the RB to recall. And Limitz ultimately made a nice call by going for a Scarab because the Scarab took a lot of damage and was able to kill a decent amount of tanks. And it's still alive, and he's going to be able to push it somewhere. Looks like Legit is on Spartan tanks now, and we are going to be going for a push. Now that I have a Ghastly Arby, I'm going to go at it again and see if I can finally learn how to kill some tanks, since I have Ghastly against Power Turret, which I should be able to kill. So I finally learned how to kill a tank right here, and I should be able to do a decent amount of damage. I even dodged most of the cannies and volleys that they threw at me. And I'm just going to be running up trying to kill a bunch of tanks, even though they have an RB and tanks shooting at me because I have Ghastly. So pretty much, yeah, I'm just running around and I'm in Rage Glitch and he's not doing damage because I'm in Rage Glitch and I'm just going to try to kill tanks and try to rage. And we're pushing our tanks right now up to Black's base while the green tanks are trying to chase me. And I'm going to try to kill this tank right here that's really weak. Instead, I'm going to latch onto the other tank like a monster. The group of tanks come up all the way on defense, and now I'm dead again, as you can tell. So there's another epic showcase of Rage Micro. And I'm finally going to shield because I don't want them to be able to deny my RB from getting out for some reason by just killing my temple. So, if you didn't know, I'm back in school right now, and I know a lot of other people are. Pretty much everyone's going to be back in school. That's still obviously going to school by next week. So, yeah, school. Not looking forward to doing the work, but it's kind of good to be back in a routine, I guess. I got some classes that actually apply to my major this semester. I was taking a lot of core type classes. For those of you that don't know, I'm a double major in accounting and finance, and I'm now taking a bunch of businessy classes. And I've already had. I started actually last Wednesday, and they actually look to be pretty alright. A lot of my teachers are nice. Some of them are pretty funny. Like my economics teacher went on about how America is so great, and he's like from Texas and stuff. It's pretty comical to say the least. And yeah, I'm actually since I'm a double major, I need 144 credits at my school to graduate, and after this semester, it'll be at like 65 or something. So I have a pretty long ways to go, but it'll all be worth it in the end. So yeah, we're just pretty much steamrolling through bases. And we pushed up to that Forge Expo, and for whatever reason, there wasn't a pad built on it. And the right, as you can see, I don't know why that pad isn't built on it, but it's not. So, but anyways, we're just gonna kill the base while the Scarab attempts to kill Red's main base, and we didn't end up getting Red's main base. It looks like. But it really doesn't matter at this point. Limitz took a triple on their side, and we killed the Forge Expo, and we have all our bases. So this game's pretty much winding down at this point. So I hope everyone's having a great start of the school year, even though it kind of sucks to be back in school. But we'll all get used to it again. Hanging out. It's good to see people again back at school. And yeah, as far as Halo Wars goes, no one's really playing it too much anymore. So I'll try to keep posting videos, but it's kind of tough when I don't have many games and no one really plays. But yeah, I'll do my best to keep trying to post like at least a video a week. Um, but yeah, it's just tough when no one really plays anymore, and I lost all my videos for my capture card messing up that I did have saved up. Um, but yeah, I hope everyone's having a good time with this game still, if they're still playing it, and I hope everyone's having a great time at school again. And I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.
All units. Your team is victorious.